You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
I want to talk about news, don't want the drama. From no pretentious media Madonna. I found me a great ganja mama. Cannabis and coffee with some marijuana.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Cannabis and Coffee with me. Sorry, I was medicating slightly a little earlier than so now I'm acting. Anyways, good morning. As you can tell, I have no guest this morning. Time always seems to get away from me, and my follow-up with my guest didn't happen, and here I am. Anyways, I'm not gonna sit here and blither on about not having a guest. Anyways, so this last week we've had a few nothings, been a lot going on. To begin with, we've had some bigotry again. Now, everybody asks me how this is cannabis related and how we all look at the stigmatization. Stigmatization comes in all forms. And as a cannabis user, I still get called a pothead all the time. And it just kind of slays me because I'll be doing something in mainstream, either my job or I've done some political things or I've, like maintained road maintenance, and all these things that I've done. And everybody's like, oh yeah, great job. And then I just and then I get called a pothead. And then it's like, but I've done all these things for you. And I've made things better, and but I'm a pothead. So the stigmatization that comes along with bigotry in all forms, whether it's against cannabis users, whether it's against LGBTQ2S communities, whether it's against Indigenous peoples, bigotry is bigotry is bigotry. So when you look at the realm of how our cannabis community has gone like up and down, up and down, and up and down, and who's taken and slicing the sides about transphobia, look in the mirror, sucker. Because you have been stigmatized and called names and had people think all kinds of things that aren't true about you. You were lazy. You were in your mama's basement playing games. You weren't productive. You were a waste of space. How many times have we been stigmatized as cannabis users? And you all are out there screaming about not letting trans people into a bathroom. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? So let's get back to the fact that cannabis is a human right as well, right? We fought for our rights in court to have the ability to medicate for ourselves and have choices. Now you've taken and you've twisted this choice all into being anti-government stuff. And cannabis, we got through to the government. We proved to them that it was a human right, and we won through courts, through legislation, through whatever ways we've done this. We've done it, but yet the stigmatization still rolls through. Same with gay marriage. Yet you still stigmatize that too. Do you see that how freedom doesn't wane? Freedom is one way only, and that means equality for everyone, whether you're a drug user, whether you're a cannabis consumer, whether you're gay, you're straight, you're green, you're yellow, doesn't matter. You're all taking this to the extreme. You all want to just think that you're the only ones that have some rights. Again, back to cannabis, because my shows are supposed to be related to cannabis. But again, I started this whole thing with cannabis for law reform and human rights, to change the laws to stigmatization that brought people to have a criminal record for a plant, right? But again, you have that choice. You have the choice. See, it's kind of like abortion. It's an addiction. It's not contagious. But being gay is not contagious either, and it's also not a choice. Being trans is not contagious and it's not a choice. Using cannabis as a medicine is not contagious, but that is a choice. You taking a vaccine is your choice, as well as it's mine too. But again, freedom only runs one way. Equality for all. Again, back to cannabis. Cannabis is where we started with this as a human right to be able to medicate in whichever way form you wanted to, and we fought so that I can do this. Can't do it in public still, though, and I can still go to jail for 14 years if I overgrow or sell to a minor. Again, law reform is not equal for everyone. I tell you, if I didn't have a criminal record for 4 grams of cannabis in the mail because I wasn't allowed to share with anybody, including another medical patient, things would possibly be different for me. And I may be able to take this message a little farther. But again, because stigmatization and people's ability to twist fact into hate makes it so that I cannot do that. And fact into hate is, I think, where we come to in this, where people's ability to twist things into stigmatizations. Again, the devil's lettuce, back to cannabis. How many years of reefer madness did we suffer because of cannabis? Racism, lies. Of course, again, told by our government, but being fed by lobbyists, people. Don't you remember what's her name? Mums Against Marijuana. She was from Vancouver. And she tried her hardest to show you the harms in cannabis. But the evidence wasn't there. It's kind of like somebody trying to tell you that an election was stolen, yet the evidence isn't there. Or somebody trying to tell you that our crime rates are up by 40%, yet the evidence isn't there. It's back to cannabis. Again, we were told it was the devil's lettuce for decades, but yet the evidence wasn't there. So, yes, we've been lied to, and yes, the stigmatization. But again, we brought them the evidence, and they changed things. So, again, back to cannabis. Stigmatization comes from bigotry and racism. And we all fought for cannabis legalization and for medical patients' rights, choices, whatever privilege, whatever, however you want to call it. But again, it's all about choices, right? But stigmatization still drags on after legalization. So where do we draw the line? Where are we going to draw the line in politicizing everything? We politicized cannabis. We totally did. We totally went out, we protested, and we made sure that the people heard us and that the government heard us so that we could at least take the harms off of cannabis. It's tested, it's grown in, fairly safe facilities now. And, if you go to a store, you can almost be guaranteed there's no fentanyl in it. But again, we had to fight for almost 25 years for that. And think about how long the LGBTQ+ community's been fighting. Didn't start really for them until after the AIDS pandemic. And they were brought into our cannabis community because cannabis was a medicine to help with the AIDS pandemic. It didn't cure anybody, but it sure helped them with the nausea from the medication and a lot of nausea from the symptoms and side effects from the HIV virus. Again, cannabis has been so many things to so many people for so long. Again, the stigma that also goes along with the cannabis community. So we stand alone a lot of the times, but again, meld ourselves in with other communities as allies because that's what we have to do. We have to be allies to the underdog. And you're all standing on the other side. And I'm having a really hard time with that. I'm not even going to lie. Like a really hard time with you standing on the side of a conservative bigot. I don't understand. You don't want to take a vaccine. You want your choices. You want natural medicine. Okay. No problem with that. That's your choice. But when it comes to straight up bigotry against transgender people and LGBTQ community, that's super disappointing, people. That's super, super disappointing for me. And I know that my opinion doesn't matter to whoever, whatever. But you're a disappointment that you cannot stand up for people, human people that breathe, that want freedom just like you. Anyways, back to cannabis and stigmatization. And that's how we all started this show. So let's get on a little happier note. Let's have a puff. What's new this week? I don't like promoting the legal market either, really, to be fair. But I know that when I take a puff on this, that I bought from a store, that I'm not going to die. So that's my, was a huge thing. We don't want anything people are dying from drug overdoses and all kinds of, from trauma daily poisonings. I don't want this to be added to it. I want this to be the medicine that it's supposed to be. And again, I'm still waiting for the evidence that people, keep saying that they're going to up the dosages and they're going to, change our program. But yet I haven't seen anything. And I've been checking the website for the Montreal Gazette. I've been checking the government pages on a regular. And Al, I want to shout out to Al. I hope he's feeling better, because Al he's having a hard time with his health right now. So I want to shout out to him. I'm not even sure we're doing a show tonight. I have not heard from him, but I'm hopefully that we will be. But again, this is what we're dealing with as cannabis users that use for medical purposes. Some of us aren't always on our A game. I'm pretty much not on my A game every day. I try to, like I say, I fake it till I make it. My brain's always a little bit fuzzy. I've got, our arthritis fog, our rheumatoid or, psoriatic arthritis fog, which comes along with that. I also take medication for attention deficit, which brings me into the tunnel vision fog, sometimes and I don't really like that feeling. So I rely on cannabis a lot rather than, and sometimes it's not enough either to keep the squirrels out of my head or me on track. And that's my biggest thing, is trying to keep track of what goes. So I use this a lot, to be honest, to keep me on track, because even my medication will make me wander, and I don't want to be wandering. I might get lost, which happens often. Anyways, I wish I had a guest. I was hoping to have, contacted a few other people this week and had some answers back. But again, people are busy. I get that. But again, with not a lot going on, sometimes it makes it different. People are also traveling. There's also other shows and stuff going on. Al and I didn't have a guest last week either, because people are busy. And like I said, a lot of the legal market can't advertise and be on. And a lot of the illegal market doesn't want to be on because they don't want to be outed. And I don't blame any of them. But again, we need to keep the lines of communication open for our community. And that's it, bottom line, right? We have to keep doing these shows to educate people and have people that are made aware that the cannabis community does exist. We're still here. We're still kicking, and that we're still, not just smoking cannabis. Some of us are, helping other patients or, educating other patients. I know that, a lot of people also do grow consulting. Speaking of growing, how are your girls doing? Mine are doing amazing, actually. I actually brought them in because I had them outside and I didn't want them to bloom outside. I was going to keep them in flower, or keep them in veg, for like a really long, like for another month, and then bring them in and put them under lights in my basement. And one day I went out there and boom, they were in full bloom. It happened kind of like overnight. It was like they were just kind of like, and then it was like, what? And they had beautiful buds coming on them, and they're doing amazing. I could probably take you during the break. What I'll do is I'll go take a picture, and then I can put it up on the screen and show you how beautiful they are, because I learned how to do that. Al showed me how to do that yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. Yeah. I don't know what day it is. That's the thing with working all these days and having all this, like, blah, everything just kind of rolls into each other. And I always seem like I'm on a hamster wheel. Attention deficit will do that to you. It just makes you feel like you're always running. And it makes it difficult sometimes to keep focused and hard. And today, to be honest, I take a day off my meds. I just need to have a day where I'm not all tunnel visioned. And I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I really feel like I got to try something new again, which I really hate, because I wish that I could just consume cannabis and not have to take any pharmaceuticals and not have to deal with brain fog or tunnel vision, or is this one going to slow me down enough so I can actually function, or is it going to put me to sleep? Because that's what a stimulant does to somebody with attention deficit. Anybody else takes it, I couldn't even imagine. You'd be probably higher than a kite, but for me, it slows me down and makes me actually, my brain not stop, but it makes it so that I can actually think one thing at a time rather than 60 things at a time. I don't know how to describe it. It's undescribable, to be fair. So again, cannabis was, helping for a long time, or I felt like it was helping me for a long time, and then it just wasn't. I, was having a hard time. Like, I think that the dinger was I went to transplant 2 plants. I had brought the buckets up from downstairs. They were in my kitchen. Put the buckets down by the back door, and all I was going to do was take those buckets out and fill them with dirt. And the dirt was outside by the tree. 3 hours later, those buckets still weren't full of dirt, and the plants still hadn't been transplanted. And I had done a little laundry or 2 dishes and everything else in between, because every time I seen something that had to be done, it was like this. And I felt like I just stood there and went, the fuck, right? And then I just went, there's something wrong here. Something's got to change. This is nuts. So I talked to my doctor, and off to the rest of the realm was we went to a psychiatrist, and because I talk to myself like there's 2 of us, because there really is sometimes. But yeah, off to the doctor and psychiatrist I went, and this is what they told me. Now I know a lot of people have told me to stay off the Ritalin and stay off the the medication, blah blah blah. Come here, Stitch. Come here, Stitchy. He needs to get down. Come here. Don't put you down. Come here, old man. Hang on a second. Sorry. This is live. This is what live happens when you're on my show. Come here, buddy. He's old. I don't want him jumping. There you go. Sorry, folks. But yeah, my old guy. I don't want him jumping off the bed. He's 14, 15 almost. Anyway, so what was I talking about now? Yeah, attention deficit and cannabis. So again, like I really wanted cannabis to be the answer, and like I said, after I turned 50, it was like something square was going on here. So I went and got a diagnosis and got some medication. But again, most days I don't feel that that's helping me either. Like a lot of times, a lot of times I don't feel like that's helping me either. A lot of times I don't feel like the medication's doing what it's supposed to, or it's making me tunnel vision, and I'm reaching for my, wanting to reach for my vape pen because I feel like I'm going too fast sometimes. Like it's not slowing me down enough. Oh, great. It almost sounds like somebody's at my door. Maybe not. Maybe my dogs are just being idiots as usual. Anyway, so like I said, so sometimes I feel like after taking my medication, it's almost like so I will reach for a DB or a vape pen or something to offset that weird feeling. I don't like that. And then, like I said, this does help to a point, but I also have a job where I can't be sitting all day with a vape pen in my hand. And I think that's, really hard for a lot of us that consume cannabis as patients, or as people that use cannabis for medicine. I hate that word patient. I always have. It just makes me think of somebody sitting in a fucking hospital bed. Well, people that use cannabis for medical purpose, whatever, therapeutic. But I can't be sitting puffing on this the whole time I'm at work. Like I couldn't when I had my other job. It was like I went 8 hours or 10 hours without any medication at all. I didn't consume before I went to work to make sure that I wasn't impaired, because it would be okay for me to take a hydromorphine and be impaired by that, but not this. So again, and it would be okay for me to take a hydromorphine at like say noon at work, but not this. So again, like I said, that's the difference between this and using pharmaceuticals, right? The pharmaceuticals are totally acceptable. You can pop one of them before you go to work in the morning, and you can pop another one of them, and even my prescription says, don't drive until you feel, what the results would be. And if you're not impaired, you can drive on it. Okay. So again, that's why some people are in this position where you don't have a choice. Well, you have a choice. I'm not going to say you don't have a choice. You have a choice. You always have a choice. But it's a matter of whether you can use this at work or not. And most people cannot consume their medicine at work. Very few and far between. In fact, I'm pretty adamant that there's probably nobody that actually their boss would say, okay, well, that's not true. I actually had one that asked me if it would help, and if it did, that she'd be more than happy to, be willing to let me do that. And I just kind of went, well, at work, no, I just didn't feel right about it, I guess. But I did actually have one employer that offered to allow me to consume my cannabis as medicine if it helped me. I actually did. So I'm not going to lie about that one. Nope, I did. And I'm sure that if I really explained it to the employer I have now, they might too. But again, I'm not going to be standing behind my till with this in my hand, puffing away, right? Like, that's just not something you do in public, right? Apparently, it's, the same as a beer, right? Now that it's legalized, it's the same as walking down the street with an open can of beer. Driving down the street, driving your car, right? Because that's the way they've scheduled this. Where in reality, it's not really that either, to be fair. Anyways, because I'm sitting here today rambling on by myself, I'm going to cut the show short down to a half an hour. I will leave, I guess, the background up because I have to fill the hour with some music playing or something. But I'm not going to sit here and ramble on for an hour today. I don't really have much more to say because I've said a lot in 20 minutes. And sometimes when you're standing in front of a crowd, which I'm not, 20 minutes is too long. It's kind of like a smelly fish, right? So I guess my message today is take your meds in whatever form that you have to. Be well, because some of us don't have that on a daily. We have up and down days, and some days we're good and some days we're not. So I think we should take every day that we're feeling good into and enjoy it the best way we can, because every day is not guaranteed. And that's another thing I think we take for granted as we all sit behind our hateful screens and our keyboards and we're all fighting and trying to, talk about rights and all these things that we don't, and stigma and all this stuff. We don't take into consideration that tomorrow's not given. And you can step out in front of a bus tomorrow and not be here, or whatever the case may be, right? So remember what legacy that you're leaving behind. Remember that you leave behind either hate or kindness on whatever maker that comes to take you, or whatever your beliefs are, which in Canada, again, you're allowed to freely express, but not in a hateful way. And that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to exist, and neither is anybody else. So from a pothead that's really happy to be existing and still has to fight stigma too, as well as everybody else is an ally that's out there fighting for the underdog. I'm going to kick off here, and y'all have a good day. And I guess I'll see you tonight if Al and I are going to be doing a show. I'm not sure that we will be. Like I said, my partner has, medical issues and health issues, just like everybody, not everybody. Of course, that's a huge blanket to throw over, but many of us, even though we don't look sick, some of us are. And just want to make sure that y'all be well. And like I said, every day is not a gift. Every day is a gift. So be kind, take your hate, find somewhere else to put it, because your legacy of hate shouldn't be left behind. Peace out.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right. I'm back. I was going to sign off, and I think I probably will here, but I'm not figuring out how to do that. I saw here just zoned right out reading some stuff on Facebook. So yeah, I'm going to throw my logo up, and I'm going to let some music play for a bit, and I'll come pop back in. I'm going to go take that picture and see if I can upload it. But yeah, I think we're just going to make this yeah, a done deal. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'll be back in a bit.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.